Well, of course, those in the finals for the 400 meters will also take charge now. Currently, Mahad is leading the show. Will they carry the day for the open girls categories here? Remains the strength and of course the resilience of their final athlete who will be running for 400 meters. We shall see which school is following Mahad in this. It is a Jamisa that is following closely for Mahad here. It is either going to be Jamisa or Mahad, or should I say Mahad or Jamisa. Currently Mahad is leading the race, closely monitored by Jamisa Senior Secondary School. But the final 200 or 100 meters will be a very, very interesting show here. As already you can see, the athlete for Jamisa is closing the gap, but the athlete for Mahad keeps rather her resilient and also the strength towards the final 100 meters. We now see this is the final 100 meters here for these two, but Mahad eventually conclude the race here, taking the first position, followed by Jamisa Senior Secondary School, and then these two schools between Bottrop and one of the schools here. The judges will need to do a very interesting job there for them to determine who comes third in the race. But that was a very, very closely contested one between the schools. Very, very closely contested one in the school. It is now the turn of the big boys for the medley relay open boys. And the senior schools that are represented in this category are Yundum Barak Senior Secondary School, who will be occupying the fourth lane, Jambur Senior Secondary School on lane 5, Jamisa Senior Secondary School lane 3, Banjul Senior Secondary School lane 6, Mahad lane 2, Brikama Senior lane 7, and Sifo Senior lane 1. Then the show here continues for these schools here. Between these big boys, Mahad is currently leading the show. Again, closely monitored by Jamisa Senior Secondary School, and then other schools as well follows closely. It is either going to be, as we have seen, Mahad leading, closely followed by Jamisa, and then the other schools as well followed. It is going to be a very, very interesting 400 meters here. the final athletes to take charge here will do or needs to do a very, very interesting job for their schools now. And then the final 100 meters. It is Mahad, closely followed by Jamisa, and then the rest of the schools as well followed. Mahad leading the race, followed by Jamisa Senior Secondary School, and then the rest of the schools as well followed. It is going to be a very, very interesting final half. Oh, a very, very interesting 100 meters here to complete the race. It is between Mahad and Jamisa. It is between Mahad and Jamisa. Can Jamisa close the gap? Wasn't a possible mission for Jamisa, but closely contested one indeed. It has been led by Mahad, and then Jamisa follows in the second position.
Allow your companions to do the race, and you'll be outside and support them and not running after them.
Hello, Mr. Ngam.
Yes.
Just allow me, let me make this announcement.
Please.
We are calling for the next event. I want all the people just take note.
Need to understand that it is Hindum Barracks that is doing that.
All right, like I said yesterday, just right now, first day, everything very fine. Second day, everything went very fine. Third day, everything went very fine. Today is the final. And there are ground rules that we are going to apply. I want everybody to listen. And when I make a decision, I don't back down. Even if it will warrant you to go home, we are not going to hesitate. We have 60 plus schools here. We cannot allow 1 or 2 schools to spoil our program. We will disqualify you entirely and you leave the ground if you don't want to comply. If you comply, we'll be very much happy and proud because it's going to be a very organized competition. People have paid their monies to come and see. People have come and wasted a lot of money and energy to come and have a very good competition. We cannot allow our competition to be like inter-house competition, where the people will be running after their athletes. From henceforth, any school, be a PE teacher or a fan or a member of the team, happens to be seen running after an athlete, automatically actions will be taken. And once the action is taken, if it is not addressed, the next event, your athlete will not be allowed to participate. This is a final warning. All of you take note. Any PE teacher that is found inside without having any reason to be inside, automatically you'll be fined. If you are fined, if you don't pay the fine, the next event, your athlete will not take part. Anybody who made any mistake, even if you make a mistake, and you run after your athlete, even within a fraction of seconds and you are caught, automatically action should be taken. I am very vigilant. I have my notebook, and I'm going around together with the vice, 2 vice, to ensure that the total comportment and then sanity prevails in the field. Otherwise, get ready to pack your baggage or your material and you go home. We are not having any regard for a big school or a small school. In fact, we'll be happy to start testing on the big school so that they know that there is no secret cow here. Yesterday we made appeal to many schools, particularly so-called big schools, not to enter into the field. Your athletes, when they enter, you have no right to come and usher them in. You have no right to usher them out. You have no right to send your medics to come inside. We have very good and competent Red Cross officials who are doing their job. If you don't want that one, go to the base and then go and take care of your athlete there, but not inside the field. So anybody who comes and usher your athlete in, you are going to be penalized. Anybody, PE teacher that comes in, you're going to be penalized. So we have said it and final. We are not going to mention any name. We are now ready to take actions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
That's a strong message sent to the schools here, and then it is very precise and also very, very clear. I mean, they are calling for a decorum here, and then warning schools that they should desist from following their athletes here, and then trying to making sure that all the schools did not, I mean, copy or follow their footsteps, but instead they should be able to allow the athletes to do the need for themselves, and then if schools are caught in discipline, of course, they will be penalized. This was the message or sort of a warning that is sent to all the schools here in order to observe the fairness of the competition.
Thank you very much, Cap. I think it is important that you start applying. We are giving you 2 minutes grace period. We are starting with the number that we have. Just practice it and start running after your athletes and see what will happen at the end. You have had the Secretary General has made mention of the rule, and you'll be surprised if it is applied. Mr. Kevin, applied. We only have 11 senior secondary schools here for the 1,500 meters open girls. And like I said, we are giving them 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes, we are starting the race. So please, teachers, take note. We are not going to compromise anything that is regarded to starting our races this time around. When we call for an event twice, the third time we are starting.
The organizers have now called for the 1,500 meters race rather for the
under 15 for the UBS and under 18 for the senior secondary schools.
Firstly, 1,500 meters for the open girls category. Thereafter, it is going to be the final for 4x100 meters for the UBS under 15 and the senior secondary schools under 18. The 1,500 meters have now begun for the senior secondary schools, and it's an open race for the senior girls.
Under 15 for the UBS and under 18 for the senior secondary schools. And now I'll call the names of the schools that are qualified for the finals. Four by 100 meters, under 15 girls, UBS. The schools that qualify for that event are as follows. Sinchubalia, Lane 4, Mansakoli, Lane 5, Presentation, Lane 3, Birkama, Lane 6, Kitty, Lane 2, Pelham, Lane 7, Dungur, Lane 1, Kanye, Lane 8. For the boys category under 15, Presentation, Lane 4, Mansakoli, Lane 5, Kitty, Lane 3, Kabafita, Lane 6, Birkama, Lane 2, St. Vincent de Paul, Lane 7, Balloon, Lane 1, Jambanjeli, Lane 8. Teachers, please prepare your athletes for the 4 by 100 meters. Under 15 boys and girls, UBS. Back. The
And it is the continuation of the 1,500 meters race for the senior secondary schools. As we have seen yesterday, it was led by Gunjur, and again, it is the same athlete who is currently leading the race here amongst all the schools that have qualified for this particular final. He's been monitored in the second place by Mahad and Jamisha, then followed by Mahad. Then in the third place, it is Botrop, and then followed by Jamisa Senior Secondary School. Then the rest of the schools followed.
Bisumbala Guigi is 0.27 point position. Gathot 0.27 position. Madiana is 1.26 position. Sotokoi Daru 5 points, 24th position. Nema Kunku Radville 5 points, 24th position. Komo Karawan 6 points, 23rd position.
Yeah, currently on the last round, Mahad followed in the second position. In the third place, it is Brikama Senior Secondary School. Then Jamisa in the fourth place currently, and then Botrop in the fifth place currently. Then Jabang is also being seen here in the seventh place, and then the other schools as well are now pushing and trying to at least finish this race or complete the race for or accumulate a certain point for their respective schools. Similarly, this time again, we are going to see that of the Gunjur Senior Secondary School finishing this race in the fourth position. She did very well yesterday, and again today. She is, of course, the one leading the race here, and then she will, of course, complete the race in the fourth position as we have seen her done yesterday. She completed Gunjur, and then the race is between Brikama, Jamisa, and Mahad. But Brikama comes second, Jamisa in the third place, and Mahad finished the race in the fourth place, while Botrop Senior Secondary School, the host, finished the race in the fifth position. Now,
let's allow the boys to start, then we will give you the senior school results. Thank you very much. That is the preliminary report results for day 3, day 1, 2, and 3. And then today, at the end of the events today, will be accumulated, and then we will be informed the final results. So far, so good. That is the results for the UBS at this moment. Then when the boys start, the results for the senior secondary school will as well be announced accordingly. Thank you.
You've heard the results being announced after the 3 days of competition. The organizers are assuring the general public and every other stakeholder concerned that the final results will be announced after this.
1.26 position. Yunus Darsilani 2 points, 24 position. Komokere 1 5 points, 23rd position. Tujereng 6 points, 22nd position. Model 7 points, 21 position. John Pikiri Tanyen, 9 points, 19 position. Kabafida, 11 points, 18 position. Sanyang, Jamanjeli, Saint Martin, 13 points, 15 position. Banjulinding, 15 points, 14 position. Sifo, 18 points, 13 position. Sana Jaban, 22 points, 11 position. St. Peter's, 32 points. St. Francis, 33 points, 9 position. New Orleans, 33 points, 8 position. Jambur, 37 points, 7 position. Bunjur, 87 points, 5th position. Union Barracks, 87 points, 5th position. Bedford, 92 points, 4th position. Brikama, 116 points, 3rd position. Chanisa, 174 points, 2nd position. Mahat, 176 points, 1st position. Thank you, the chairman of competition. You have had the results and the various positions.
That was the announcement from the chairman of the competition. And currently, you're watching the 5,000 meters for the open boys. You can see Abdullah is leading the race, but this time he's been closely monitored by an athlete from the Yundum Barracks. Yesterday, he finished this race in the 1st position.
And I just want to go over it. With your permission, I want to call the schools that qualify for the 4x100 meters, VBS and SSS, please.
1,500 meters as well.
Thank you.
4 times round the hill for the senior boys. I beg your pardon. It is 4 times round the field, and then they are now left with the last lap. It is between Abdullah here and then the athlete from the Yundum Barracks, who is closely following him in this race. He is, of course, a very basic athlete. Abdullah, when it comes to this time. Now to the final 100. Someone is sprinting behind Abdullah. Can he make the surprise here? Is the question, but a very, very interesting final 100 meters here between Abdullah and then one of the schools here, who is now exhausted and then settles for the 2nd position. Then Abdullah have finished the race again, this time again in the 4th position, and then the 3rd come from, and then the Barracks guy eventually finished the race in the 4th or 5th position. The judges actually
Yundum Barracks, Jambur, for the boys category. Mahat, Jambur, Jamisa, all Yundum Barracks, Tujereng, Dinjur, and Bottrop.
teachers, please send in your athletes for the 4 by 100 meters. On the 15th for the UBS and on the 18th for the senior secondary schools.
We are pleased to inform you of the arrival of the Regional Directorate of Region 2 West, Mr. Musaba. He is in our midst. This is the first time of its kind a regional director would leave his office and then come to see what is actually happening. Let us understand, he is here to represent the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. He is the head of the Regional Directorate, and as well all the schools, participating schools, and even non-participating schools are under his purview at the Regional Education Directorate, Region 2 West. Mr. Ba, you are highly welcome. We want to assure you that since we began, there has not been any issue. To assure you that we are trying to make sure things are done accordingly. We have heard what happened in Region 1 in the inter-house of Nusrat and another private school, but we want to assure you that in this region that will not happen. Then you can do the rest of the activity. Thank you very much for your coming. We are grateful. Yes, that event is unfolding, and as I promised, I want to inform you of the pronouncement of the results so far from day 1, day 2, and day 3, according to the chairman of competition, Mr. Abdul Karim C. He is the only one who has
That's
to announce
the announcement of the results from day 1 to the 3rd day.
Teachers, please stay where your school is. Please.
Mr. Kebe will soon give us those results.
The moment they are caught, we know what to do. They've been told again and again. Do not worry. We'll be vigilant to make sure that we go by the rules so that there will be sanity towards the end of the last day. Therefore, I want to provide you with the numbers and the position of the schools as of yesterday. That is the results for the UBS, Busumbala Guigi, 27th position without any point. Gadhok, the Dutch school, 27th position without any point. Madiana, 26th position, 1 point. Sodokoi Daru, 24th position with 5 points. Nema Kungu Ragville, 24th position with 5 points. Kombo Kerewan, 6th position, 6 point, 23rd position. Pujereng, 8 points, 18th position. Jabang, 8 points, 18th position. Kenyam, 11 point, 17th position. Malada, 14 point, 16th position. Gunjur Kunkujang, 16 point, 13th position. New Yundin, 16 point, 13th position. Busumbala Farato, 16 point, 13th position. Jambangeli, 17 point, 12th position. St. Vincent de Paul, 18 points, 11 position. Kubine, 22nd, 22 points, 10 position. Tabafita, 23rd point or 23 points, 9 position. Tanjay, 26 points, 8 position. Brikama, 41 points, 7 position. Gundu, 47 points, 6 position. Sintubalaya, 62 points, 5th position. Palum, 76 points with 4th position. Presentation, 118 points, 3rd position. Kitin, 152 points, 2nd position. And Mansakoni, 158 points, 1st position. So far,
That is the results for the upper basic.
At now. Mr. Park, thank you very much. We are about to witness the beginning of a 4 by 100 meters relay. UBS under 15 girls. Coach Judges, once you are set, please send us a message. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much, Mr. Jaju. The ankle leg position is raising a red flag. Alright, we have green. Sergeant, wherever you are, it's all yours, please.
You will now be watching the 4 by 100 meters UBS for under 15 girls, and the schools that will be representing in this category that will be represented rather in this category Sinchu Balia Upper Basic School on lane 4, Mansakoli Upper Basic School lane 5, Presentation Upper Basic School on lane 3, Brikama Upper Basic School on lane 6, Kitty Upper Basic School on lane 2, Palum Upper Basic School on lane 7, Gunjur Upper Basic School on lane 1, and then finally you have Tanje Upper Basic School occupying occupying lane 8. They've just started for the 4 by 100 meters for the upper basic schools.
Of the senior secondary school as at now. Cibex, 27 position without a point. Ali Badra, 26 position with 1 point. Yunus, 24 position with 2nd point. Dasilane, 2 point, 24 position. Kumbo Kerawan, 5th point, 23rd position. Tujering, 6 point with 22nd position. Yadai, 7 point with 21st position. Pengem, 9 point with 19th position. John Pickering, 9 point with 19th position. Kabafita, 11 point with 18th position. St. Martin's, 13 point with 15th position. Jambangeli, 13 point 15th position. Sanyang, 13 point 15th position. Banjurunding, 15 point 15th position. Sifo, 18 point 13th position. Samasan, 19 point 12th position. Jabang, 22nd point 22 position. So 22 mark with 11 position. St. Peter's, 32 points with 10 position. St. Francis, 33 points with 9 position. Elimbum, 43 points, 8 position. Jambu, 47 point, 7th position. Bunjul, 87 point, 5th position. Yundum Barracks, 87 point, 5th position. Botwap, 92 point, 4th position. Brikama, 116 point, 3rd position. Jalisa, 174 points, second position, and Mahad 176 position, 76 mark point with first position. So far, that's the preliminary report.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kebe. A quick reminder to the senior secondary schools. Up next, we have the under 18 4 by 100 meters relay. And the schools that qualify for that event, the girls category, are as follows. A quick one, please. We have Mohat, Birkama, Patrap, Jamisa, London Barracks, Gundur, Jambur, and all Yundum. Please take note, PE teachers. As for the boys category, we have Mohat, Jambur, Jamisa, all Yundum, Yundum Barracks, Tujere, Gunjur, Batrap, and these are the schools that are qualified for the 4 by 100 meters under 18 boys. Corner judges, if you are ready, please.
It is now going to be the turn of the under 15 boys. That is the schools for the upper basic school categories, 4 by 100 meters. And the schools that are represented in these are Presentation on lane 4, Mansakoli will be on lane 5, Kitty lane 3, Kabafita lane 6, Brikama lane 2, St. Vincent de Paul lane 7, Palum lane 1, and Jambanjeli on lane 8. They have now started the 4 by 100 meters for the UBS boys. Please see which of the schools here will be ending this gap here. It is currently Mansakoli leading the show. It is currently Mansakoli leading the show here for the upper basic school boys. Who completes for them? It is Omar. Is it? No, not Omar. This is going to be a very, very closely contested affair, and then Mansakoli finishes the race, then followed by Presentation, Kitty, and other schools as well follow. There is the athlete for Presentation that has completed the race in the second position. He follows the Mansakoli Mansakoli Upper Basic School athlete. The race was led by Mansakoli, then followed by Presentation, and then Kitty completes the race in the third place.
We are about to witness the same event for the under 18 girls, and when we say under 18, we're talking about those that are at the senior secondary schools.
It is now the turn of the under 18 girls for the senior secondary schools, and the schools that are represented in these 4 by 100 meters for the girls are Mahar Senior Secondary School will be on lane 4. Brikama Senior Secondary School will occupy the 5th lane. Botrop Senior Secondary School will be on the 3rd lane. Jamisa Senior Secondary School on lane 6. Yundum Barak Senior Secondary School will occupy lane 2. Gunjur Senior Secondary School will be on lane 7. Jambur Senior Secondary School on lane 1, and Old Yundum Senior Secondary School will be on lane 8. Again, that was another warning sent to the to the schools. Observe the disciplinary aspect of this particular competition. The corner judges there are yet to be settled. If they are, then of course we are going to see the commencement of the under 18 4 by 100 meters for the under 18 girls. That is of course the senior secondary school category. Each of the participating athletes will run for 100 meters before handing the baton to another athlete or your compatriot from your school, who will also be running for another 100 meters until 4 of the athletes get their batons, then thereby completing the 400 meters race.
Remain where you are so that we allow our athletes to showcase their talent. Remember, the real stars of this event must be our students and not ourselves. So we must not try to steal the show from those that deserved it. And these are our students who are here to entertain us and of course showcase their talent in the area of athletics. So let's remain where we should be and allow the kids to entertain those who paid their monies to come and watch. Athletes, on your marks.
Now the corner judges giving the green light for continuation for the movement. Girls category. Jamisa Senior Secondary School is currently leading the show here. Can they finish the race in this position? Remains have been closed by Mahad Senior Secondary School here. Who or which school in finishing in the first position here remains the question here. It is between Mahad and Jamisa. It is between Mahad and Jamisa. Closely contested tie here. Who finishes it is Jamisa, Mahad, Botrop, Yundum Barracks, and then Birkama Senior Secondary Schools coming in this. Yours, Jamisa Senior Secondary School finishing first, followed by Mahad. Then Botrop Senior Secondary School comes third, and Birkama Senior Secondary School finishes the race in the fourth position.
Well done. Don't forget, we are only watching the relay. That no athlete is allowed to run on to the batting. Hand over the batting where he is supposed to hand over. If you fail to hand over, if you are found wanting, you
Sorry, we
will
need
disqualify.
to confirm this. Because the judges are here
Here come the big
to
boys.
confirm that
4 by 100 meters.
it was okay. The Yundu Barracks finished fourth, and then Brikama Senior Secondary
adjustment
School
system
comes fifth.
to show us their level of preparedness, physically and mentally for that matter. It is always difficult to see them sprinting across the lane to hand over the baton. It's a form of art, of course. It is very, very beautiful if it is properly done.
It is now going to be the turn of the under 18 boys. Of course, these are boys from the senior secondary schools. And the schools participating in this are Mahad on lane 4, Jambur Senior Secondary School on lane 5, Jamisa Senior Secondary School on lane 3, Yundum Senior Secondary School lane 6, Yundum Barak Senior Secondary School lane 2, Tujereng Senior Secondary School lane 7, Gunjur lane 1, and of course occupies lane 8. The green light soon will be given, and then they have now kickstart the race. It is going to be a closely contested race here as well between the schools competing here. Currently, Bottrop is leading the show, and then other schools as well are very close in this. And then finally, it is the final 100 meters now. It is between Mahad and Jamisa Senior Secondary School. It's going to be, of course, and then Mahad follows in the second position. Then you have Bottrop in the third position, Yundum Barracks in the fourth position, and then the rest of the schools follows in this race. A tough contest for the under 18s for the senior secondary school boys. It is Jamisa finishing fourth. Jamisa have secured first position in both of these races. Under 18 girls, they secured the first position. Under 18 boys as well, they are able to go home with the first position as well. And then it is Jamisa, Bottrop, and then the other schools as well followed.
When the big boys line up for a relay, a split second distance can make a difference. And of course, that was clearly manifested when the anchors received the baton. What a race.
Very well. It was an entertaining race between the schools here. And then we currently waiting on the announcement from the organizers here or the judges as to what event follows this one. But solely we are going to see 100 meters from all categories here. It is either going to be now or later. But that decision remains the responsibility of the judges. As you've heard the announcement, there it was Mahad Senior Secondary School leading the
Up next,
senior school category, while
we're
they
going
are
for
being
the
closely
400
monitored
meters.
by
That is the UBS category. And of course, 100 meters is one of the most difficult sprinting events. But I believe the athletes who are in the finals are prepared physically and mentally for the task that lies ahead of them. And the schools and athletes that qualify for the 400 meters U15 girls are as follows. Koyo Koli, Titi, Binta S. Dabo, Monsa Koli, Abuja Tujalo, Simchi Balia, Kadri Dabulu Kujabi, presented Jana Batao, Isumba Farato, Maimuna Sambu, teachers please send in these athletes for the 415. Same 400 meters. Girls under 15. List of qualifiers and their respective schools. Lady Lamin Toure, Mansakoli, Lamin Silla. Presentation. Bojo. Seku Bojo. Nuyindum. Famara Chava. Sanam. Abdu Conte. Titi. Yusfa Jame. Kusumbala Farato. Hussein. These athletes qualified for the 400 meters U15 boys and girls for the UBS. PE teachers, I'm going to repeat the names and their respective schools for the last time, and we expect you to comply by sending in the athletes. Remember, there is no day 5, and in the event we cannot complete what we have on our list, and I'm afraid some schools will travel to Sibanor to go and complete it. But I hope not. All right, U15 girls, 400 meters. Koyo Koli, Kiti, Pinta Dabo, Mansa Koli, Khadija Tujalo, Simchu Balia, Janaba Jao, Busumbala Farato, Maimuna Sambu, Pirkama, Mariama Kuyate, Mariama Saidi, Jambanjele. Presentation. Pirkama, Seku Bojo, Nguyen Jabal, Sanang, Abkonte, Kiti, Sfajan, Busumbala Farat, and Usainu Cham of Sinchubali. Those are the athletes who qualify for the U15 400 meters UBS. PE teachers, we want you to quickly send in those athletes. I'm not going to call the names again, but I'll move on to the senior secondary schools under 18.
the next race that we are expecting here is the 400 meters for the UBS and of course for the senior secondary school categories.
Pleased to have you in our midst.
It is the final for the 400 meters for the upper basic and of course for the senior secondary schools here who have been represented rather in these finals. Remember, it was the first day, the second day, third day, and then the final and the fourth day today are the schools who will who made their way to the finals are the only schools that you will see on the lanes
Just to remind you
that
again,
will be
we will
competing
again
for
prolong the
the
race.
qualifiers
Do not
to
get
the
inside the field
National
to
Athletics
celebrate
Championship
with them.
for
We
the
are
secondary
congratulating
schools
with the
that
Gambian
will
flag.
be taking place in
Embrace
April.
guys
It is
that
either
have won
going
with them.
to
And we have
take
said it
place
very clear
in
that there will
at
be
the
no
Independence
harassment
Stadium.
here.
If
Please,
the stadium is ready
play.
before then,
Thank you.
failure for the readiness of the Independence Stadium. This is going to be the ground that will be hosting that April event
Chairman speaks.
for the Senior Secondary School Sports
Running
Association.
because he is a
Of
member
course,
of the mandate.
they will be hoping that the
Many
stadiums,
times.
the Independence Stadium is ready for the event.
By the secretariat.
If
So
not,
to avoid all that,
the
again,
championship will, of course, be
is not allowed.
taking place here at the
Of course. But
Butterop
just
Senior
playing
Secondary Schools
that
grounds
will
here
make this
in the next 2 months' time.
and in the same vein, let's say a very, very modest, but do not celebrate violently. 400, they are starters associating for 5 schools and they begin. 400 meters on 18 girls, senior secondary schools.
Wahi Kamara, Mahat, Mariama Jao, Birkama, Fatu Bojang, Jambur, Fatu Sise, Gunjur, Hawa Jame, Botrop, Aisatu Jame, Windum Barracks, Mariama Sow, Old Windum, Mariama Keita, St. Martin's. Those are the guys that qualify for the under 18 400 meters. For the boys category, Modu Lamin Traore, Jambur, Bakeba Mane, Yindum Barracks, Abdul Wanya, Mahat, Moro Marika, Birkama, Idrissa Jame, Banjulundum, Modu Aliu Jaju, Kamisa, Fode Mane, Patrop, and Amadou Kujabi. Albreda or Alu Badararat.
And 5 schools have made their way to the UBS categories for the 400 meters. As it starts, as you have earlier heard from the announcement made by the organizers, they also run past us. We are going to review the schools that are represented in the 400 meters UBS. It is, of course, going to be the next event that will be competed here. As for now, the schools or the spectators here are left at the mercy of the starters there. When all schools file in their competitors or when the starters are ready to start, the event will kick start. The Gambia Senior School Sports Association, of course, knows that not every student can rather make it in life academically, or this is another avenue or another platform that is open for the students that are also good in the area of sports to actually showcase the talent that they have in them, so that the avenue can serve as a stepping stone for them to make their way to the international levels, and of course an avenue where they will rely on sources of income. And then, as we have seen, some made their way or made their success financially through sports, differently in regards to, let's say, football, for instance. And of course, we have seen some athletes as well from the Gambia who have also made their way to the international competitions. They all started from grounds like this.
400 meters under
One of the
15.
biggest needs in
Can you please
who are,
send
who
in
are- so these athletes that are currently here who know opportunity to watch them representing their
400 meters, U15 girls. Kuhune, can you please report for the 400 meters U15 girls? Mansa Koli, Modlami, lane 4. Mariama Kuyate, please. Wherever you are part of those that qualify for the 400 meters U15 girls. Yes. Please send in your athletes for the 400 meters under 15. This is the last call. under 18 and open for the senior secondary schools. All right, now we are about to witness the beginning of the 400 meters. Oh, yes.
Soon we are going to witness the 400 meters for the UBS. We can spot out Busumbala Farato, Sinchubalia, Mansakoli, Brikama, presentation, and also Kitty Upper Basic Schools in this race. And it is 8 schools that are represented here. They have been given instructions to maintain their lanes. It is 400 meters for the under 15 categories. Of course, this is the junior school category. Let's see, it is going to be a tight final 100 meter. Currently, Kitty is leading the line. Kitty is currently leading the line here, but she is also being closely monitored by presentation Sinchubalia and Mansakoli Senior Secondary School. Of course, it is going to be Kitty Upper Basic School rather to celebrate the first position, then followed by presentation Sinchubalia, and then Mansakoli Upper rather Basic School in the 4th place, and then in the 5th position it is that of the Brikama Senior Secondary School, and 5th it is Jambanjeli Upper Basic School. It is now going to be 400 meters for the UBS boys. It is the under 15 boys. It is now 400 meters for the. It is going to be presentation Kitty Mansakoli, and then the rest of the other schools are also here. We can also spot the Busumbala Farato, also other schools that
Eventually we call them finalists as a result of their performance, resilience.
we find it difficult to identify rather. You can also see Brikama Upper, and then got spot out Busumbala Farato, Brikama Upper Basic School, Mansakoli, presentation Kitty, and 3 other schools that are not labeled. But of course, this under 15 as well. It is for the UBS boys. We will see which school will finish this race on top. But we can spot out so many good school.
6 is disqualified for false start. Like I said earlier on, when we hear the noise of that whistle, it is sending them. On your marks.
An athlete on lane 6 have been disqualified for a false start. We could not, as for now, identify the school. And then the 400 meters UBS, that is for the under 15 category, now begun. The final 100 or 200 is always going to be very, very interesting one. But currently, Kitty is leading the line. Now it is the final 200 meters. Mansakoli is closing the gap on Kitty. Now Mansakoli now takes the lead, followed closely by Presentation. It is Mansakoli in the first position, followed by Presentation, and then Kitty have now been left behind. It is on the third position. It is going to be Kitty now. Mansakoli first, Presentation second, Kitty second, and then Brikama. Kitty third rather, and then Brikama Upper Basic School finishes the race on fourth place. Mansakoli first, Presentation second, Kitty Upper Basic third, and Brikama Upper Basic finishes the 400 meters race for the UBS on fourth.
This is part of fair play. Please to acknowledge the presence of the president of Muslim. Yes, our students are teaching us some valuable lessons that sports is flown. It is out to unite us as one people, and of course not to cause separation or division or difference of any kind. This is the beauty of sports, and this is what we expect from our students and teachers alike. Sports is out there to unite everybody. Sports is one language, nothing more than that. And of course here we go with the big guys for the same event, 400 meters. Alright, be to just, the moment we are done with the 400 meters, we'll be moving in for the 100 meters, all categories. UBS under 15, UBS Boys and Girls Open, Senior Secondary Schools under 18 Boys and Girls, and Boys and Girls Open for the same SSS. So teachers, please prepare those athletes that qualify for the finals for the 100 meters, the highly anticipated sprinting event.
It is now the turn of the under 18 girls for the 400 meters.
Athletes, on your we have a path for lane 8, please. All right, fine. Athletes, on your marks. Teachers, your lack of focus is going to cause some of your athletes clearly. And of course, these are situations that we can avoid. Please send in your athletes. We must not allow our kids to claim for this special event. This is because of lack of focus. Small is get that part of your leg and you come and compete. Dear teachers, please, let's send in our athletes the moment an event is called. And that whoever I'm surprised of, the qualifiers are named again and again, and still the PE teachers at some schools did not be able to send in their athletes who has already qualified for that particular event. Yet sometimes, Mr. Kebe, coaches can be under immense pressure. This is why we have assistants, and it is the responsibility of the assistant to listen and do the right thing by supporting the head coach of the team. Athletes, on your marks.
The under 18 categories for the 400 now begun. Then we can spot out Mansakoli. Their presentation can also be spot out Kitty as well, and then the other schools as well have been represented in this. We'll see which of these schools here would be able to finish the race here. And the first 2, 3 or 4th positions. Currently it is Mansakoli opening up the gap here. But we can spot out Kitty also coming close, closing the gap on the athlete in the second position. Now it is between Kitty and Mansakoli. It is between Mansakoli and Kitty. Mansakoli is currently leading the race, but it is going to be a tight one. And then yes, of course, Kitty completed the race on the first position, Mansakoli, followed by Kitty, Presentation, Palum, and then the other schools as well followed, including Jabang and the now it is going to be turn of the under 18 boys for 400 meters. The athletes will be instructed to actually maintain their lanes by getting themselves prepared for the start of the event. It is 400 meters for the senior secondary school, that is the under 18 boys. Sorry, open boys categories for the For the upper basic category, Mansakoli, Kitty, presentation, and other schools as well have been represented here. And then here will they are now left with a very presentation is currently leading. Mansakoli between the three schools. Mansakoli is currently leading. Presentation finishes second, and then that other school that is not being settled, and then this time Kitty finishes fourth, and there is Kabafita fifth position. And
These are the guys that qualify for the 100 meters U15. Your teachers should be us here.
now it is the 400 meters for the senior school girls. You can spot out Botrap, Mahad, Brikama Senior Secondary School, Yundum Barracks also can be spotted there. We are also spotting Kabafita there and of the school. Which of the schools here will be finishing the race in the first, second, third, or even the fourth position in this race? It is currently being led by Birikama Senior Secondary. What is this?
Goes on, this goes on and on and on and on. And let's see what will happen. It is not over until they cross the finishing line. And even this, of course, I call it the class of the Titans. The peoples of school sports. Lining up for the 500 meters.
It is now the 400 meters for the senior schools. Open. It is Botrop Senior Secondary School, Banjulunding Senior Secondary School, Mahat Senior. We can also spot out Yundum Barracks, Jamisa Senior Secondary School, and the other represented schools as well. The 400 meters will soon commence for the under 18 boys for the senior secondary schools, and then we are going to see open for the girls, and then we will also see open boys for the 400 meters after this. All the schools would want to come out as a regional champion for this race, but this is going to be a very, very interesting 100 meters in the finishing line. It is currently led by Barracks, then Mahad very close in one of the schools as well, and then you have the 4th, 2nd, 3rd, and then Jamisa finishes this race in the 5th or 6th position here. The Senior Barracks and Mahad Senior Secondary School that finished 4th and 2nd. Then there is a school that we find difficult to identify that finishes in the 3rd position.
Regional champions, West Coast West.
We are now going to witness the open girls category for 400 meters, and the schools that are represented here. We can see again both Mahad and Jamisa. Botrab is also represented. Plus the rest of the schools who have sent in their athletes or who have made the qualifying sport to this, and then they have now begun the race. The schools moving closely here, but it's always very, very interesting in the final 2 and 100 meters. They are now into the final 100 meters of race, but currently Jamisa is leading the race, closely monitored always by Mahad, as we have seen in the races here. And now it is still the ready two schools. Let's see Mahad coming first, Jamisa in the second position as of now, and we have seen Butler finishing third. Then the other schools as well finishing subsequently after those ones. What are we going to see now? It's now going to be the turn of the big boys.
Please listen to the names of the following athletes who qualified.
Brikama Senior is celebrating with their athlete.
Boys and girls for the UBS 100 meters. Under 18 boys and girls, UBS senior secondary schools rather, and the 100 meters boys and girls open for the senior secondary schools. Meters, last call, and the 15 times UBS. Alright, 400 meters open boys. Sufo is yet to be around. Alright, teachers, please listen to the names of your athletes for the 100 meters on the 15 boys and girls.
It is now going to be the turn of the big boys here for the 400 meters and the open boys category. The schools represented in this category, you can see Banjulandeng, Jamisa Senior Secondary School, Mahar Senior Secondary School, and Brikama Senior Secondary School, of course. And then the rest of the athletes as well will also be following.
Presentation, Howard Ture, Turkana, and Aisatu Sise of Palum. The boys category, Ibrahim Camera presentation. Athletes on your marks.
And it has now begun for the 400 meters category for the open boys. And then as the race comes close, it is always very, very interesting in the final 100 and 200 meters. Currently, they have now finished almost, one would say, 200 meters. It is now left with them to complete the final 200 meters here between these athletes here. It is a very, very strong fight between the athletes here. Let's see, it is now the final 100 meters, but Mahad is currently leading. Jamisa is coming close. Can Jamisa close this? But it is between Jamisa and Mahad. It is a very, very tight one between Jamisa and Mahad. Of course, it is going to be a very, very tough one for the.
This is absolutely beautiful.
For the judges to decide now. It is left with the judges to decide who finishes first. Now the judges are currently discussing to actually determine the athlete that finishes first in the open 400 meters boys categories. It is of course between Mahad and Jamisa Senior Secondary Schools. So the judges two athletes here, but the first position categories. We have seen him winning yesterday and today as well. He won the 400 categories for the open boys categories. As you can see him celebrating Mustafa Ijadama with his fans over there, with his supporters over there, and then waving to his school. Let's see.
A particular stream to participate. When the athlete arrived at the ending point, the athlete changed. We are investigating. If evidence are provided, that particular school will be expelled immediately. Thank you. Thank you, the chairman of competition. Whatever you do, this is why we introduce.
And now we are going to see the 100 meters under 15 for UBS girls. It is going to be, the athletes who have made to this final here. Jenaba Sow for Mansa Koli who will be taking the lane, who will be taking lane 4. Jenaba Kurubali of Kitty will take lane 5. Sadio Kasama of Jamanjeli will take lane 3. Fatu Bintu Balde of Tanje will of course take lane 6. Fatu Jallo of Sinchu Balia will take lane 2. Kadi Jaju of Presentation will take lane 7. Hawature of Brikama will take lane 1. Aisatu Sise of Palum completes the qualifiers for this particular category, will of course take lane 8 for this event. It is 100 meters under 15 for UBS girls. There's 8 athletes and also 8 schools have qualified for these categories. We are giving you their names again and of course the schools that they will represent. Jenaba So will represent Mansakoli. Jenaba Kurubali or Kulubali will represent Kitty. Sajo Kasama will represent Jamanjeli. Fatu Bintu Balde represents Tanje. Kade Jaju for Presentation. Awature for Brikama Upper Basic School. And Aisatu Sise for Palum completes the under 15 UBS for the 100 meters girls. The judges will soon decide or will soon come to the agreement here as to when is this particular event is going to start. It is amongst, or it is going to be contested amongst or between 8 schools and of course 8 qualified athletes for the junior school categories for the under 15. And again we are going to do something here. So is for Mansakoli. Of course, it is the upper basic school category for under 15 girls. 100 meters. Jenaba So for Mansakoli. Jenaba Kulubali for Kitty. Sajo Kasama for Jamanjeli. Fatu Bintu Balde for Tanje. Fatu Jallo for Sinchu Balia. Kadi Jaju for Presentation. Hawature represents Brikama Upper Basic School. And finally, Aisatu Sise represents Palum Upper Basic School in this 100 meters under 15 for UBS girls. And then it is the green light will soon be given for these 8 athletes to compete for the glory here. And now they have started the race here, coming close. Which of these athletes here will finish first for their schools and then eventually qualifying themselves? It is Mansakoli leading the race here, then Kitty, and then two other schools between Sinchubalia and one of the other schools that we find it difficult to identify will settle for the third and then fourth place respectively. That will be decided by the judges here. Then they will need to review the footages before they are able to give that third and fourth place to their schools. But the first and second were very clear. It was Mansakoli in the first who took first, and then Kitty follows. And now for the same event, 100 meters for UBS under 15, it is going to be contested here between another 8 schools. It is Ibrahima Kamara who represents Presentation, Ibrahima Sane for Kubune, Musa Sajo for Kitty, Dembo Bojang for Brikama, Moro Jaite for Mansakoli, Muhammad Mane for Busumbala Farato, Sheku Sise for New Yundum, and Musa Sane for Gunjur Upper Basic Schools. We are going to give you their lanes as well before they move. Ibrahim Kamara for Presentation will be on lane 4. Ibrahim Sane for Kubune will occupy lane 5. Musa Sajo for Kitty on lane 3. Dembo Bojan for Brikama lane 6. Moro Jaite for Mansakoli will be on lane 2. Mohamed Mane for Busumbala Fararo on lane 7. Sekou Sise for New Yundum lane 1. And Musa Sane for Gunjur will be on lane 4. That completes the 8 athletes for the 100 meters UBS. And of course, it is the under 15 category. And thereafter, we will also see the open boys categories for the UBS. For open girls will start first, and we are going to see the open boys categories, and thereafter we'll be moving to the 200 meters as the list we have here dictates to us for the UBS, and then the rest of the other ones will continue. The judges will soon decide when to start this race. As you can see, they have yet to give a green light to the competing athletes to commence the race here. But of course, the sooner they are satisfied, the faster it is going to start. Athletes are now on their marks. We will see. Now they have now begun the race here. It is between 8 schools here. Which school? Is it Mansakoli or Presentation? Presentation leads this time. Busumbala Farato. Then it is between Kitty and Mansakoli to celebrate for the 3rd positions here. But the 1st place goes to Presentation, and then Busumbala Farato. But that again was a very close one between Presentation and Busumbala Farato. But the closest was between Kitty and that of Mansakoli Upper Basic Schools. The judges are there now reviewing the footages before they come to any conclusion of which athletes to be given the 1st position the second, third, and then the fourth positions here. But it's seemingly clear here. Presentation takes the lead, followed by Busumbala Farato. And then it is between Mansakoli and Kitty to settle for third and fourth. Yes. Presentation goes on with first position in this final. They are now the regional champions for the under 15 boys for 100 meters. Followed by Busumbala Farato Upper Basic, and Masakoli finishes third, and Kitty finishes fourth in this category. And now we are going to see 100% open girls categories, and we are going to give you the names of the athletes and also their schools and the lanes that they will be, of course, that is assigned to them by the, it is Adama Njai who represents Mansakoli, will take lane 4, Fatima Kamara Sinchu Balia takes lane 5, Jenababa Tujereng takes lane 3, Sawane Hydra for presentation takes lane 6. Lane 6 rather, Aisatu Fadera Kitty takes lane 2. Our Baji for Brikama Opa, lane 7. Bintu Dabo Jambanjeli takes lane 1. Sunkari Nyakarada for Gunju takes lane 8. These are the 8 athletes and also representing 8 schools here. The schools are Mansakoli, Sinchubalia, Tujerem, Presentation, Kitty, Brikama, Jambanjeli, Gunjur. Yes, completes the 8 schools. The corner judges are currently there, trying to observe until they are satisfied before any race will be allowed to begin here. Adamanjai Mansakoli, Fatima Kamara Sinchubalia, Jenaba Tujereng, Sawane Hydra presentation, Aisatu Fadera Kitty, our Baji Brikama, Bintu Dabo Jambanjeli, Sunkari Nyaka, Gundur, and they are coming very close now. It is Mansakoli leading now. Mansakoli is the school that is currently leading here, and then followed by similarly Brikama, and then Kitty, of course, finished in the third, and then the fourth one perhaps goes to that of the presentation side. But the judges are here to determine. The first position is the declared one. Then it goes to the school that I find difficult to identify, similarly, not Birkama, Sinchubalia. Yes, Sinchubalia comes second to Mansakoli, who finishes fourth. Adama Njai is the regional champion for the open 100 meters girls category, and she represents Mansakoli in this. Then Sinchubalia Fatima Kamara finishes second. Then the rest of the other schools as well followed closely. And the schools and athletes now are ready for 100 meters open boys for the UBS. And we are going to give the names of the athletes and also the schools they are representing, and of course the lanes that is assigned to them by the competition department. Noha Fati represents Kitty in this. Takes lane 4, Mohammed Mendy. Nu Yundum takes lane 5. Ibrahima Jame, Ol Yundum takes lane 3. Ibrahima Kamara for Mansakoli takes lane 6. Tura Sose Nena Kunkura takes lane 2. Mamadou Balde presentation 11. Master Silva Bunju takes lane 1. Alaji Kora takes lane Alaji Kora Busumbala Farato takes lane 8. And the starters there will soon give the green light for the commencement, and then they are now coming, the big boys, for the upper basic school. Which school will carry the day here? Closely contested tie here. Umar Kamara finishes fourth here for Masakoli, and then the presentation, and then the other schools, the judges will need to have or do a very, very difficult job here for them to decide which of the school here comes second. But clearly it was Umar Kamara for Masakoli who took first in the regional hits for the 100 meters open boys categories for the UBS. The judges are currently monitoring, trying to review the footages here. And then the second position goes to presentation here. Of course, it is clearly Omar Kamara took first for Mansakoli Upper Basic School and the open boys categories. Is of course the regional champion rather for the open 100 meters open boys for the UBS. It is now the turn of the under 18 girls for the senior secondary schools. And the athletes, and of course the schools that are represented here, and of course the lanes that is assigned to them. It is Jenaba Sedi for Mahad, lane 4. Maimuna Baji for Jamisa, lane 5. Mary P. Jata for Botrop, lane 3. Khadijatu Jabi for Yundum Barracks, lane 6. Khadijatu Sedi for Brikama, lane 2. Aisatu Sise for Gunjur, lane 7. Salifun for Jambur, lane 1 and lane 8. Aisatu Top. And they are now coming close to the finishing line here. The big girls here for the senior school category. It is Mahad, and then Jamisa finishes second. Mahad first, Jamisa second, then Botrop seemingly third, and then the other schools as well followed. But the judges will determine the third and fourth places. But clearly it was Mahad, and then fourth and Jamisa Senior Secondary School under 18 for girls here. So Mahad for under 18 girls here are the regional champions, and it is no other but Jenaba Sedi, but Maimuna Baji finishes second, and also a qualifying athlete for the under 18 girls for the senior school categories. And then we are now going to see the turn for the under 18 boys, 100 meters, of course for senior schools as well. It is Musa Kujabi for Jamisa, lane 4. Hatabu Ture for Mahad, lane 5. Alaji Lamin Kamara for Jabang, lane 3. Omar Ndong for Gunjur, lane 6. Abdullah Jaju for Brikama, lane 2. Elerios Sanyang for St. Peter's, lane 7. Ibrahim Anyang for Yundum Barracks, lane 1. And Mfamara Jaju for Old Yundum takes lane 8 for the 100 meters under 18 for the senior secondary schools categories. The corner judges there will soon give green light to the competing athletes to begin the race, and then as they come close, or sometimes it is only decided when the footages are reviewed, as we have seen in the 400 meters categories here for the open boys, when the footages were reviewed thoroughly before any decision was made. And this time, when the judges in the finishing line are done or have made their final decisions, then they will alert the starters there, who will give the green light to the under 18 100 meters boys athletes to kickstart. Again, the 100 meters under 18 boys are, of course, the senior schools categories, and in this they are represented, the schools and also the names that will be competing there are Musa Kujabi for Jamisa on lane 4, Hatabu Ture for Mahan on lane 5, Alaji Lamin Kamara for Jabang on lane 3, Omar Ndong for Gunjur on lane 6, Abdullah Jaju represents Abrikama on lane 2, Elerios Sanyang represents St. Peter's, he's on lane 7, Ibrahim Anyang representing Yundum Barracks on lane 1, and Famara Jaju completing the 8 competing athletes here. Of course, he takes lane 8 for, and then he is representing Old Yundum in these categories. And then green light is now given as they chase towards the final end here. Who takes charge here? Mahad or Jamisa? It is between Mahad and Jamisa, but seemingly it is Mahad, and then Jamisa finishing second in this as well. Surely, then, but the footage is under review here. But what we can tell you here is that it is Mahad who have closely laid towards the line, then followed by Jamisa Senior Secondary School, and then the rest of the schools as well followed. But the first position is, of course, between Mahad and Jamisa. We believe it is Mahad Senior Secondary School, but the judges are there to give the final decision, or take the final decision on that, and then slowly soon we will know who finishes first here, as it is confirmed by the competition department. See, the athlete for Mahad is currently celebrating with the belief that yes, he finishes in the fourth spot. But we'll see who Yes, of course, confirm it is Mahad Force, Jamisa, and then Guntur. The regional champions for the under 18 boys. For the upper basic is Mahad, and then followed by Jamisa Senior. And now we are going to see the 100 meters open girls categories, and then the schools and also the athletes that are represented here. Adama Jam is a senior, takes lane 4. Jenaba Dabo for Maha takes lane 5. Jara Bojang for Yundum Barracks takes lane 3. Halima Sala, Jambur senior, lane 6. Khadija Dabo, Botrop, lane 2. Kumba Kujabi, Brikama, lane 7. Mariama Makalo, John Pickering, lane 1. And Mariama Chalote Mendy, Ali Badara, Senior Secondary School, takes lane 8 for this category. Now the open girls are now making their way towards the finishing line here. It is a very, very tough one towards the finishing end, but it is Mahad, then Jamisa Tat, and then one of the schools that we find difficult to identify, of course, finishes in the first position. It is Mahad Force, another school second, and then we have seen Jamisa finishing third here, and then the rest of the schools will follow.
The one with the blue shirt, whether you are a media officer now, when the athletes are going down, you all squat down. When they reach, you can then take your photos. Otherwise, we will ask you out. Thank you.
Now the turn of the big boys now. Open boys, 100 meters.
And I thought you, the LSC, Council and the other team, everybody must go down. Otherwise, whether you are a media personnel or not, you excuse from the field. Everybody must go out. At the end of the race, then you can go down. Please, go down. Whoever you don't want to go down, you excuse us from the field. Thank you.
And then the 100 meters open boys, Amara Tamba, Brikama, lane 2, John Mendy, Jabang, lane 7, Sam Sidi, Jata, Jambu, lane 1, and then we'll follow after the 100 meters for all these categories. Again, Min Bright, Kabafita Senior, takes lane 5, Mafuji Dabo, Ol Yundum, takes lane 3, Abdullah Jabang, Yundum Barracks, takes lane 6, Mfamara Tamba, Brikama Senior Secondary School, takes lane 2, John Mendy for Jabang, lane 7, Samsidi Jata, Jambur, lane 1, and Ismaila Mane representing Yunus English Senior Secondary School on lane 8. And then the big boys have now come close to the ending here. Which school goes? It is a very, very difficult decision to be made here between Yundum Barracks Brikama Senior, Mahad, and then the rest of the school. Almost about 3 or 4 competitors arrive on the line almost at the same time. But this is going to be a very, very difficult decision for the judges. But seemingly this has taken by the athlete from Yundum Barracks, Abdullah Jabang, who seemingly finished on the first position. But we left the decision to the judges to decide who finishes first, second, and third.
100 meters. Boys and girls open. UBS. 4 by 100 meters. Boys and girls open. Senior secondary schools. And of course, I'll get
It is the athlete from Abdullah Jabang, who is the regional champion for 100 meters open boys for the senior secondary schools.
presentation.
And then
Kitty, Palum, Jambangelu,
the rest of the schools
Pengen,
followed.
and Birkama for the girls category. 4 by 100 meters. Boys open. Boys open. Senior secondary schools. Mensakoli, presentation, Kitty, Birkama, Busumbala Farato, Nuyundum, Gunjur, and Palum. Teachers, please send in your athletes for the 4 by 100 meters boys and girls open.
This has completed rather the 100 meters race for the UBS in all categories for boys and girls for the senior secondary schools. Under 18 UBS is also for the under 15 and open boys.
Four by 100 meters. Boys and girls open. UBS 4 by 100 meters. Boys and girls open senior secondary schools. And the finalists are Sinchubalia, Mansakoli, presentation, Kitty, Palum, Jambangeli, Penyen, and Birkama. For the boys category, UBS, Mansakoli, presentation, Kitty, Birkama, Kusumbala Farato, New Yundum, Kunjur, and Palum. PE teachers, please send in your athletes. All right, I am made to understand that there are forms, athletic fixtures in which the names of the schools are not captured. And of course, if you don't come to the table and try to settle that problem, I'm afraid your athletes will not participate in the next event. By 100 meters near secondary school. These are the list of the. This is the list of the finalists. Report for verification. We have Mahad, Union Barracks, Janisa, Botrop, Birkama, Jambur, and Gunju for the girls category. The same for boys open senior secondary schools. Jambur, Mahad, Botrop, Janisa, Birkama, St. Peter's, Gunjur, and Jambanjeli. Repeat once more. 4 by 100 meters, open girls, senior secondary schools. Mahat, Yindum Barracks, Jamisa, Botrop, Birkama, Jambur, El Yindum, and Gunjur Senior Secondary School. And Jambanjeli. Teachers, please send in your athletes for the 4 by 100 meters boys and girls open. Yes, MSN. Report as your school is called. For senior secondary secondary school 4 by 100 meters open boys. There is some adjustment that is regards to lane 4, Kamisa, lane 5, Jammu, lane 3, Yundu Barracks, lane 6, lane 2, Batrop, lane 7, Gunjur, lane 1, St. Peter's, lane 8.
Soon, the schools that have qualified for the 4 by 100 meters will start competing in that category, and then, as you have heard from the announcers from the competition department, these schools will soon be ready to start, and we can see the athletes are already being arranged.
Four by 100 meters. Open girls. UBS. For the girls, these are the schools that qualified for the finals. Sinchubalia, Mansakoli, Presentation, Kitty, Balloon, Jambangeli, Penguin, and Birkama. As for the boys, we have Mansakoli, Presentation, Kitty, Birkama, Bisumbala Farato, Nuyundum, Kunjur, and Palun. Just a remind those in the field, when they are on the mat, let everybody squat down. Otherwise, we have no choice just to come beside you and tell you the excuses from the field. VP, it is very, very important for people to squat down because those that are watching, I believe they deserve to see everything that is happening in the field. From every corner, and whatever is happening, VP Kebe, can you ensure that those that are not doing anything Let's get out, please.
I cancel that.
Please.
They don't come on better. Yeah.
Set. Here they go. 4 by 100 meters.
It's now 4 by 100 meters for the UBS girls. 4 by 100 meters have now commenced here, and then in the final 100 we will be able to know, but closely it is Mansakoli that is currently leading the race here. It is Mansakoli now leading. You'll see whether they will be able to, but Kitty is coming very close here in the race. Mansakoli here as they move towards the end. It is instead between Mansakoli and Sinchubalia. Then Mansakoli first, Sinchubalia second, and Kitty finishes third, and then fourth place goes to presentation. Then you have Brikama Upper Basic School, Jambanjeli, and then the rest of the schools as well followed. It's Mansakoli, Sinchubalia, and Kitty finished and third respectively. It is 4 by 400 meters race for the UBS girls.
4 by 100 meters. And I believe the crowd is getting their money's worth as far as this competition is happening.
It is now going to be the under 18 categories for the 4 by 100 meters for the senior secondary schools. Then thereafter, the bigger girls will follow. You will also see now it is going to be the boys first for the UBS. You can see Kitty, Mansakoli, Brikama, then one of the schools that is not labeled, and then this one, perhaps we have seen Gunjur and also Busumbala Farato, and then presentation as well is represented here. We wait until the start.
And end the events with the UBS. Please take note. When it comes to the 4 by 400 meters, we're going to start with the senior secondary school and then we end with the UBS. Because we want people to be entertained, and for some other technical reasons involved, we are starting with the senior secondary schools. An announcement, and the announcement is for the 4 by 400 meters. We are starting with the senior secondary schools and we end with the upper basic schools for some technical reasons. Please take note. Corner judges. All right, we have green all over side. At least on your marks. Can we always go down again? Can you please go down? Can we please go down again? Can we please squat down again? At least relax. Please squat down. Squat down before the events will begin. Can we please go down again, wherever you are? With respect, please. Ladies and gentlemen that are inside the field, can you please go down to allow others to see what is happening in the field? All right, at least on your marks.
It's now the turn for the UBS boys for the 4x400 meters open. And it's 4x400 meters. The first batting exchange has already taken place. The second batter for the presentation guy. This time, Mansakoli have scooped now. It's now leading here in this. Mansakoli leading now. Omar Kamara. The final batting for Mansakoli has been collected by Omar Kamara, and then indeed he is going to finish in the first position. No, undoubtedly. And then the contest for the second place is between Kitty and Presentation. Of course, the judges will need to tell us who indeed come first in that race.
What a race. Mansakoli, Kitty, and Presentation.
Then 4x400 meters really for the open boys for the upper basic. It is Mansakoli who are the champions, of course the regional champions for that particular category. And soon we are also going to see other events that will follow.
A split second can decide the fate of a race, and the athletes know that. But the beauty about everything that is happening in the field here is the unity, the cooperation, the understanding, the spirit of fair play displayed by the athletes that are competing is absolutely magnificent. Great to see our athletes behaving so maturely. This is a clear manifestation that school sports is taking the right steps in the right direction.
Now 4x100 meters for under 18 girls. It's for the senior secondary schools. Then all the schools that are represented here as well will be seeking to be pronounced as the regional champions or scoop the place of a regional champion in this particular competition here. You can see Jamisa Yundum Barracks, and then as well Bottrop Senior Secondary School is also there.
So don't be surprised when the competition is keenly contested. Corner judges, please communicate with me. 1-3. Corner judges. Corner judges, thank you.
And there's Gunjur is represented. Bottrop is represented. Yundum Barracks is also represented. Mahad, Jamisa, and the rest of the other schools are also represented here. Let's see which school will emerge first in the under 18 category for the senior secondary schools. It has now begun here. The senior school under 18 categories for 4 by 100 meters for the senior secondary schools. Open girls categories now. Now the final 200 is the change here. Jamisa is closing the gap on Bottrop. Mahad is also coming very close. Now it is the final for Jamisa now leading the race here, but Mahad it is who have finished first 4 by 400 meters category. They are first the regional champions here in this category. It is now the turn of the big boys. The open boys for 4 by 100 meters. It is now the senior school categories for the 400 meters. Jumbo Yundum Barak Senior Secondary School, Jamisa Senior Secondary School, St. Peter's Senior Secondary School, and of course Bottrop Senior Secondary Schools. The schools are represented here in the senior boys categories or in the open boys categories for 4 by 400 meters. All this yearning for the position of a regional champion in the 4 by 400 meters category. Again, I'm going to give you the name of schools who will be competing in this category here. It is and then there's Gunjur Senior Secondary School, Brikama Senior Secondary School, Jambur Senior Secondary School, Mahad Senior Secondary School, Jamisa Senior Secondary School, Yundum Barak Senior Secondary School, Bodrop Senior, and of course St. Peter's Senior Secondary School are all represented in the 4 by 400 meters categories for the open boys categories. And then soon the starters will give the green light to the athletes, and then as they come close we will be able to realize or know which of these schools here will of course it's a false start for one of the schools here. The starters will identify and then penalize the athlete, and also that particular school will cease to compete in this. Whichever athlete is part of them, then we will see which athlete is the athlete for lane 1 for Gunjur Senior Secondary School. Gunjur lane 1, he has been disqualified for a false start. It is now lane 2.
It is unfortunate that we have to play against any match.
Become a Peter Senior. It is now left with 7 been disqualified for a false start. And the race has boys for the 4 by 400 meters race here. The first batons have now been handed already. Now it is Jamisa chasing down, crossing the gap on the other athletes, and then continue in the far end. It is between Jamisa now taking the lead here. Jamisa taking the lead here, and then it is Jamisa who's currently leading, rather, that is currently leading the race here. Jamisa finishes first, but let's see what here, and then is that disqualified for leaving his lane. As you can see, the Jamisa would have to do, but Mahat is handed second position. The school, but already the second position in hand on behalf
up, Yundum Barracks, all Yundum and Gunjur. PE teachers, wherever you are, please send in your athletes for the 4x400 meters Open Girls SSS. I repeat, the finalists are Jamisa, Mahat, Birkamal, Jambur, Botrop, Yundum Barracks, all Yundum and Gunjur. These are the finalists for the 4x400 meters Open Girls Senior Secondary Schools. For the boys category, the same 4x400 meters. Here are the finalists. Mahat, Jambur, Jamisa, Birkama, Ali Badara, Gunjur, Sife, and Batrop. To the board. Alright. I repeat the list of the finalists for the boys category 4x400 meters, senior secondary schools, for the very last time. Mahat, Jambur, Jamisa, Birkawa, Ali Badara, Gundur, Sife, and Botrop. PE teachers, please send in your athletes. The girls category. These are the finalists. Jamisa, lane 4, Mahat, lane 5, Birkama, lane 3, Jambur, lane 6, Botrop, lane 2, Windham Barracks, lane 7, A Windham, lane 1, and Gunjur lane 8. Report to the starting point, please. Please report to the starting point immediately. We want to avoid getting into any moment of invisibility. So please, all those athletes and the event squad, please report for verification and also for name distribution. Please, the teachers send in your athletes. Any in their team, the report, they have the last name. When it comes to athletics competition. So you are welcome, Mr. the Vice Chairman of the Council. Thank you for coming. ellipse for the 4 by 400 meters. Girls open. Mahat Senior Secondary School, please send in your ellipse for the 4 by 400 meters. Open girls relay. Mahat Senior Secondary School, this is the last call. You send in your at least or we are going to start the race without your school. Final call, Mahat Senior Secondary School, send in your at least for the 4 by 400 meters. Starters, please. Let's go on so that we can be able to finish. There is an event about to start. They are on their lane. And once more again, I will continue to appeal for those in the field. Even the athletes who have come, can you squat down, athletes? If you squat down. Yes, please squat down. Squat down.
And another event will soon be on 400 meters for girls, and then the schools that we can spot for this event. So represented schools are difficult to identify.
The moment I say set, please.
Five in the one. Who's here with a winning spirit. You need to be having that energy in trying to making sure that Let's see which of these schools will actually finish first in this race here. It is 4 by 4. Jamisa now will open the gap here. Jamisa has opened a very big gap between them and the athlete in the second position, that is the Mahad Senior School girl, who is also been closely monitored by the Brikama Senior Secondary School, and then the Yundum Barak Senior Secondary School also monitors closely, but it is now that of the Brikama Senior Secondary School, who are currently in the second position. Jamisa is now approaching the final 100 meters. He is chasing, he is coming with full speed in trying to making sure that they open about 40 meters between them and the second position. And Jamisa keeps moving now. It is Brikama Senior Secondary School in the second position now. Brikama Senior Secondary School, and then Yundum Barracks in the third position. Mahad follows in the fourth, and then Bottom Senior in the fifth, and the school next, and also part of the schools chasing the glory here. The entire race continues. Jamisa leading the race, followed by Brikama Senior Secondary School. Have now come to the second position now. The second place here will solely be occupied by the Yundum Barracks. Not so very well, because the girl from the Brikama Senior Secondary School is also trying to close down the gap, and it is Jamisa who are the regional champions for the 4x400 meters senior girls category, followed by the Yundum Barracks, and then Brikama Senior Secondary School, Mahad, Bottrop, and Jamisa Senior Secondary Schools in this race. And then two other schools, including Gunjur and one of the schools that we cannot identify, also comes close. It is Jamisa who are the regional champions for 4x400 meters open girls. And then we are now going to see the turn for the big boys, who will also be going for 4x400 meters for senior girls. We will also try to give you the names of the schools who will of course be participating in the 4x400 meters for senior boys, the senior secondary schools. In this race, we can spot our C4 Senior Secondary School. Is it Brikama? Yes, Brikama Senior is also represented in the race. Mahad Senior Secondary School, Jamisa Senior Secondary School, Jambur Senior Secondary School, then Bottrop Senior Secondary School is also there, and then we can also see Gunjur Senior Secondary School also taking part in this. It is 4x400 meters, boys open for senior secondary schools. Jambur, Jamisa Mahad, Gunjur, Brikama and other schools as well.
Big boys of skill sports galloping towards the 150-meter mark.
And then currently the race continues here. It is 4x400 meters race here. 4x400 meters for open boys for senior schools. 4x400 meters open boys for senior schools. 4x400 meters, and then it now continues here. And then it is between Jamisa and Mahad now, who are currently leading the race. Jamisa and Mahad are currently toe to toe. We will be able to tell you, and it is Jamisa and Mahad now currently leading the race. The fight here is between Jamisa and Mahad for the first spot. Mahad led the race. Now Jamisa, it is Mahad and Jamisa now who are leading the race here. Mahad, then followed by Jamisa, Brikama Senior, Gunjur is also there, Bodrob is also there. Some other schools follow the line. And after this, it is going to be the turn of the final 400-meter runners. The turn of the final 400 meters. It is going to be a very, very tough one. The turn of the final ones in the 400 meters race. The turn of the final ones in the 400 meters race. Now Jamisa moves forward with Mustafa Jadama now for Jamisa. Jamisa leading the race here now with Mustafa, and then closely followed by Mahad Senior Secondary School, Brikama Senior Secondary School, other schools, Gunjur also followed, and then we can also see Botrap and other schools also following behind. Between Jamisa and Mahad, it is going to be a tough final 200 meters here between the two. The tough final 100 meters here is the fight between Jamisa and Mahad. The final 100 between Mahad and Jamisa. Between Jamisa and Mahad. Between Jamisa and Mahad. Mustafa Ijanama has led the race, and he wins the glory for Jamisa Senior Secondary School, followed by Mahad in this race. And then Jamisa is of course the regional champions for the open boys for 4x400 meters relay.
It is always very nice when the big boys are on the tracks. What a race that was between Mahat and Ganesa. Actually, this is why we are gathered here to witness performance from the very best athletes from West Coast. West Coast, the home of champions. West Coast, the origin of some of the athletes that will send chills down the spines of other athletes whenever they are mentioned. And of course, athletes and your backs. Can we please squat down again to allow others to see what is happening? Please those in the field, again and again, appeal for you to squat down. Athletes, relax. Athletes, relax. Get up. Go. Let us squat down and allow these other events to take place. Athletes, and relax.
Now it is 4x400 meters relay for the UBS category. You can them. And then continues Kitty in the second place. And then presentation start followed by another school. And this is still not Rakita as we have earlier stated Gundur. And then some other schools also follow. Now this will hand the final party. An energetic athlete. This particular race. Of course, in the UB, if they end up the race like this, they will be the champions for the BS category for the 4x400 meters relay.
Some people may call it one of the most difficult sprinting events in sports is this 400 meters. If you slow down, you will never catch up with your fellow competitors. You have to move if you are not fit, relax, we allow the Red Cross to pass. You can see a good number of our guys are stretched up the field as a result of the intense competition. But anyway, here we go. At least on your marks.
It is just the exchange of batting. Here they go. That's not the end of it. We're still chasing each other. And let's see what you're lacking. Interesting. All officials will fight in to submit the flags and all other materials to the committee, the LOC. For next week, it will be Sibano and Abuko, the schools of Bangu and KM. By Friday, will be originally Abuko. And Sibano will be the schools for the Federal and the Congo East. So let's see. That seems to be the last party to the 4x4. Here they go. They're still coming towards the end. And we shall see how the race will end. Oh, there's another battlefield. There will be the last battle. Starting in progress, and then from there you get to see what you're lacking. Here we go. That is the last battle. The Union 4x4. This one will gonna be very interesting. Here we go. Of course, the distance between the second and the third, but he's getting closer. He's closing the gap. And let's see when they get to the last 100 meters and see what will happen. That will seem to be very interesting. Yes, the gap is getting closer. Closer and closer. Yes, we have a better race.
Presentation and master and then Master Koli finishes third. That have won the UBS category for the
See, the recorders are busy and they are on the digital transformation of the record. I am sure any moment from now, as the last event gets to them, they will input it in the system and the system will cut and give them the results. So we can be only patient and allow the recorders to alarm the chairman of competition so that we will then be able to announce accordingly. The Secretary General, Mr. Jambo, issued the records. We have the like of Tajo, Chanko, Mariama, and the rest are busy. They have in fact received the last event. They are now putting it into the system, and you will be informed. But notwithstanding, honestly, we want to thank everybody that we can all bear witness that this year's organization has become a zone for the 2026 regional heat has been well organized, well calculated, and then we want to thank the PE teachers for understanding. To be with us here, we have witnessed a keen competition, and so we are all happy with the level of competition. But remember, this is not the end. This is the fourth region, and we are left with the last regions for the regional hits. From there, the qualifiers will be pronounced, and then we get to the championship. The qualifiers of all the regions will meet in the championship, and that's what is going to be interesting. This is where all the qualifiers will meet, and we see what will happen. We thank our officials for honestly a job well done. And not forgetting the paramilitary for making sure that there is order. These years, it's wonderful. We all have exercised the sportsmanship with a high level of maturity. And we want to thank our officials who are equally from Region 1. Next week is their show, and the regional coordinator, Mr. TBC, is here and wondering. And then I'm sure he's going to organize better. That is why he is here. Let's see what will happen next week on Friday at KM. And then at Sidano as well. GB and your team, we wish you all the best. So we be with him and give him the courage. Thank you. Yes, the chairman is around. And the chairman has just informed me that the results will be verified because there are a lot of schools and they have to look at the system again and again until when they know there is no mistake, then it will be sent to a Google's platform. So we want to appeal to all those who are eager to know the results of the final bill. But we will send it in the platforms because the Secretariat are very mindful to make sure that everything goes well and fine. So we want to thank everybody. Thank you very much to the PIO for making sure that all those who have come other than witnessing the event are looked at so that everybody can go home peacefully. And then they understand that protecting life and property is their role. And that's why they want this to end well, so that every individual who is here today, you reach home safe to your parents. It is a program of the students, and therefore we want to urge you all
and mindful. Go home and get prepared for school tomorrow. Sports, athletics, and any other discipline is excellence as well. In as much as you want to showcase your talent in sports, do not forget about your books. Because there is life